Welcome everyone to Garrett Green Gaming. This is Garrett Green, and today I want to talk about gaming in 2025. So I am hyped for the games coming out this year. I think this year might be one of the best years in gaming of all time. I am so excited. I am beyond hyped for all the great games coming out. Now, I've been hearing a lot of negativity surrounding games in the gaming industry over the last year or two, and still going on now to this day. And I agree that there are plenty of problems in the gaming industry. And I think the key word there is industry, because there are problems throughout in all industries worldwide, no matter what it is. And the source of the problems within industry is always coming down to greed, corruption, always only caring about profits and growth, not necessarily the product or the consumer or anything like that. So, if there are problems in the gaming industry, which there are, it has everything to do with the business aspect, the corporations, the government, and everything, the leaders of the companies that control everything. That is the problem within the gaming industry. But in terms of the actual games and the actual experiences that we are going to have this year in gaming, I think it might be the best of all time. Despite all the problems going on, we are about to get a list of amazing games. Obviously, number one in everyone's mind is GTA 6. Might be the biggest game in history, the best-selling game in history, the best game in history. Rockstar has been cooking this game for over a half decade, and they've really never missed in a GTA or a Red Dead or their big games. So obviously GTA is the big elephant in the room in terms of gaming. People are saying it's going to save gaming and all this. Like, I'm looking forward to games like Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Crimson Desert, Doom the Dark Ages, Metal Gear Solid, Avowed, Mafia the Old Country, Fable, Hell is Us, Monster Hunter Wilds, South of Midnight, Outer Worlds 2. Kingdom Come Deliverance is the next big game to come out this year. This year is completely stacked, not even counting GTA. The games we are going to get this year might be the best ever, and the games are bigger and better than they've ever been ever before. And you hear all these people talk about how gaming is dying and AAA gaming is dying. There are plenty of failures and bombs like Concord and Suicide Squad, but for every one of those games we get like 3, 4, 5 amazing games with huge success. The last couple years alone, we had games like Baldur's Gate 2 and Baldur's Gate 3, Astrobot, Alan Wake 2, Silent Hill 2. That's not even close to all the amazing games. I just listed off a couple that were on the top of my head. But there have been a mountain of great games came out in the last couple years. AAA games too. I mean, AA and indie games have been great also, but AAA games are not dying. They've had problems, but we've had amazing ones in the last couple years, and 2025 is going to blow all that out of the water even. So in terms of the games and the experiences, I am hyped. And it's not just the games. Beyond the games, I'm excited for like the future of the tech and what's going on with like ray tracing and machine learning and what Nvidia is doing on the PC side. I for one don't play on PC. I like console, but what I see Nvidia doing is pretty crazy. And then the consoles are starting to tap into the ray tracing and the machine learning and the AI. So beyond just the games, I'm hyped for what's going on with the tech. And we're going from 4K to 8K, from 30 frames to 60 frames to 120 frames. So that there's some growing pains that are going along with that. People are saying like, oh, we've hit the ceiling on graphics and all that. I think we've hit like pretty much the ceiling. I mean, there's room to grow in terms of graphics and things like that, and I would like to see that. But beyond the graphics, forget the graphics. We are going to see leaps and bounds in ways to interact with the games, in ways like to talk with NPCs. RPGs can become even more like become even more organic and more creative, and so many more things you can do. I can't wait to see what GTA does with the NPCs and how you can interact with them. So beyond the graphics, there's so much more that the technology can do in terms of modes in the game, interactions in the games, the density of the games, not just the graphics, the features and the gameplay can go so far in gaming, can go crazy, and I'm excited for that. So, one more negative thing I want to touch on that's kind of been going in the discourse of gaming recently, last couple of years. See, I mentioned how I think like the greed and corporations, the people in charge, the people that have the power and the money that make bad decisions, they they are the problems in the gaming industry. Anything that's a problem in the gaming industry is coming from them. What I don't think is a problem is, I'll just say it, wokeness. Okay? Now listen, I don't like the pandering. I don't like big corporations coming in and telling us you must accept the transgender people. We're going to force transgender people in the games. Like a game like Dragon Age Veilguard, like how they forced a trans character unneeded. They did a bunch of other stuff, surgery scars. I don't know. I haven't even played Dragon Age, but I know that they put in a transgender character and then it had really bad writing. And then they misgendered their own character in the damn game. So you can't get mad at like other people calling transgender woman dudes or whatever when you're doing it to yourself in your own game. So I hate the pandering from people that have no idea what they're talking about. They don't care about transgender people. They don't care about gay people. They don't care about their message. They're just trying to be trendy or whatever it is. I don't think it's some large conspiracy like BlackRock is forcing all these companies with Sweet Baby Inc. to obey their standards of whatever the fuck they're trying to do. I think BlackRock is more worried about hurting people financially and, eating up the housing market. I think if you want to go after companies, you can talk about the real source of the problems rather than this weird ass woke shit that is completely ridiculous. So, yes, there's pandering that goes on with some of these games. It's not as widespread as people make it out to be, but it's happening a little bit. But it's not causing an end to the gaming industry. It's not damaging games 99% of the time, okay? We've been getting great games, and a lot of the games that have been amazing and masterpieces recently, you could say have woke stuff in them. So I don't want to hear it. The phrase woke itself just makes me cringe because it meant something completely different a few years ago, and then people hijacked it to do this weird like pandering thing and this weird like virtue signaling thing, and now the anti-woke people are the woke people themselves, because now every time they see a woman in a game or someone that they don't like the way the character looks, they're crying because of the way the character looks. You have become the people you've been fighting against. So I don't want to hear it. That's not a problem in the gaming industry, but I've talked too long about that. My point is, I'm excited for games this year, okay? There's problem in the industry. There's things that aren't problems in the industry. But I think people are overblowing some issues. And I think people are underrating what's to come this year. So, this is Garrett Green. Thank you for watching. And I will be back soon with more videos.